currently would be able to view it. We will start in 3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, I'm here with Abbas. We are going live on his page, Abbas, for the very first time. So I really hope that you guys are going to enjoy the conversation as much as I am sure I'm going to enjoy having this conversation with Abbas. We will share the link for you to follow him after this. Abbas is a trainer and a behavioral based safety coach with over 40 years of experience in the corporate world. Yet, if you know him, he is such a down to earth, kind, and compassionate person. Today, he will be sharing with us on family values and the changes between then and now. Hi, how are you?
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me in your last year. Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to this. I'm sure you'll be able to share a lot and we can all benefit from this. I've always admire and respect the values that you instill on everybody whenever I meet you. So thank you for this. Now I'll just
Well,
jump right into the questions, right? Please tell us about your childhood and the difference between the generation now, what it's like growing up now versus ages ago.
right, ages ago, when we grew up, I grew up in a place called Mount Faber. It's not a mountain, actually, just a Mount Faber, name of the place after one of the English general, I think. And at the time when I grew up, I was we very close with our siblings, right? So we have we have neighbors who work in the civil service with as like my father. But at the age of 6 years old, when we moved to one of the quarters, because my father worked as a civil servant, then he was given a house by the British administration, which is free. We call it black and white house. Uh, the neighborhood there, one thing unique is it's multiracial. We have like truly the civil service there. We have the Eurasians, we have Indians, Singaporeans, we have Chinese, Malay, and a lot of other ethnic group based on that races. As a child, we do a lot of playing. In fact, balance of study and play, and we play outside the house because we have a lot of big compound and we have big field to play like soccer and so forth. So the integrations of what we call friends, it's very unique in the sense that we are so bonded, regardless of who we are, right? And until now, I can remember my friends, their faces. Now they are almost the same age as me. But the difference of today's children, when I'm saying today, is not your generations. I'm talking about, when you have your children. In fact, my grandson, I would say, it's a lot different in the sense they don't get to see this kind of world, this kind of life. And theoretically, when I sit down and talk to him and explain to him what how's my life was as a child, they would not understand. They don't feel it. They don't feel it, right? They do listen. They don't feel it. So unfortunately, they do not have the option. So my take is this: I would encourage parents go to the park, basically out of HDB. Go to the park, especially at the East Coast. There's a big park there besides McDonald's. That's the best place to meet a lot of other children, a lot of parents, and they come from multinationals, racials, and mix around with them. And let the child knows that hey, this is not only you. In Singapore, there's other races, very international races, there with you to make friends. That's the difference. And the other thing is, we are very disciplined, especially when we sit at home watching TV. And if the guest comes in, you know what we do? Our father will just give one look at us, and we greet the guest, and off we go, run to the room. That's what we do. And automatically we will switch off the TV. We lose that channel, what you call the channel, it's okay. We lose the story of the channel, it's okay. But in the room we go. So I like I think your generation, yes, the same thing. The guest comes in the house, you all will stay on and enjoy with the guest. Or even your parents are talking to each other, the TV still on, and and there you are. You don't switch off the TV. That is one way of, I think, it's not because the children don't care, not because you don't care. It's the way of the family love for each other, respect for each other in that way. I don't see it wrong. I don't see it wrong, because I accept it. Even my daughter, when people come in the house and she's there, she just watch TV and low down the volume. And we, the elder one, have to discipline ourselves, focus in our conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah, but by the time sometimes we look at the TV, turn our eyes there, and then focus on the conversation. But one thing I like is the adult doing this is I call balance. That's the beauty of it, because we have to accept change. Where during my time there's no TV, and with the TV, and now we have TV, internet, whatever. Let them watch, be with us. And I think that's the way. Thank you.
So do children nowadays actually communicate with the guests as well as compared to last time? And what do you think would happen if instead of going into the room we actually communicated with the guest?
I think it's good. I think it's good. Now, of course, in the early stage of that, before having guests coming in, or that situation, we need to explain to our children and then tell them, as parents, we don't mind you watching TV when we have our guests, but do bring our guests. If there's conversation within while you watch TV and the guest asks you what's your name and so forth, I encourage them to engage in the conversation. And I think in that manner, they won't feel authority in that you're not supposed to be here. But I think it's good because it actually shows them the maturity of themselves, how they're going to behave in front of them, and that's okay.
I guess the respect towards both is very important, towards the guest and towards the host and the children of the host as well. And that's one of the key difference that I take from the conversation with you. Okay, I'm just going to move on to a very, very interesting question that I've always wondered for the longest time. How did you meet your spouse?
It was actually coincidence. Yeah, seriously. Long story.
Okay, you can't. You need to minimize it. You need to give us a summary of your long story.
I was doing a small business. I have a shop. I do a tailoring shop, right? A little bit of fashion, clothing, and so forth. A friend of mine doing the same thing. Her shop is above the floor, my floor. And one day I was going down the escalator, and my friend was, I could see the window of my friend's shop, and she was looking at me, and I just waved. So going down the escalator, suddenly my current wife, my girl, the lady behind her was just pop up, and I saw wow. And I was looking at my friend, was looking at her. I said, wow, in my heart I said, who's that? Sometimes you see something like first time you had that kind of boom feeling. So I took note of that. By taking note of that is, in fact, the next day, I used to visit the shop. The next day, I pretend to go to a shop and asking to borrow certain thread and so forth. But only the pretext of actually, I want to see the girl who was behind her.
Yeah.
And no, she was in the shop, and she was sitting somewhere where just one of the corner there, and she was very proud. She never smiled. Then I said hi. She never smiled at me at all. She never smiled.
Ouch!
So she sort of like look at me and nod ahead. Then I began talking to my friend, asking her for the thing I want to borrow for a while, and off I went. But that question mark in me says, wow, that lady is very proud. But on the other hand, my heart says, hey, that's better, you should try harder. That's better. So that's how I met her. So didn't get a chance to meet longer than that because after that she has to fly back to Australia.
Ah,
She works in London most of the time before she came to Singapore. And I didn't see her for probably about 2 months or so. We didn't keep in touch. But I saw her came back after that. That is the first date I had with her. We had lunch nearby. So never give up. Never give up.
okay,
Like
so
you study movie.
so I think this is what we're gonna do, because this is not the first time that it's not the last time that we're gonna have this conversation. The next conversation that we're gonna have with you, you're gonna reveal the next phase, what happened after you bump into her at the shop. Okay? We'll save that for the next one.
Yeah,
Um
there's a lot.
I'm sure, and I look forward to hearing this story. It's quite interesting. So there's like a 2 months gap before you saw her again, right?
Right. Yeah. Never give up.
Never give up,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So
Though physically we didn't meet in 2 months, but my heart says,
she's
listen
the
to my heart.
one.
Listen to
Wow.
my heart. I did listen to my heart, and I met her again.
Wow. Okay. I look forward to listening to how you continue after 2 months later. That would be very, very interesting. You have been married for how long now?
I think about more than 35 years.
More than
Right now.
35 years, right? I feel that not many during my generation and the generation before me were willing to read or know more about cultivating family values. It's more of, I've learned this, it has been passed down by my parents, my grandparents. These are the values instilled, right? We were not willing to adapt to different, what's the proper way or how to really do things. What were the challenges of those family values, and how did you manage that in your marriage life?
Another long story.
Oh, I'll try to shorten my questions next time.
Uh, yeah. So I'm not a guru of family, and I don't claim myself as very smart. But it took a lot of. It's a learning curve for me in the early days of our marriage, as being young. And usually, same like any youngsters now, they got married, like young couples.
Yeah.
A lot of challenges, but we too have a lot of challenges. But in actual fact, is the challenges that we face is not about the person, which I realized after many years. It's not about her or the other party. The other party shouldn't think about the other party. It's about yourself. So basically, when we marry someone, we dream of a woman like this and like that, a man and like this, like that. Now, without realizing it, when we marry someone, we didn't have what we thought we should have. And the person happens to be a different person. You know, definitely will be different. You will not get everything that you think that person, your ideal wife, your ideal husband. Uh, but how are you going to strike the balance, the value? Because your value comes from your parents, my value comes from my parents, her value comes from her parents. And by the way, she's of a different race, right? And how do you match that? You know? But what about those couples who are in the same race? How do you match that also? Because all of us have different culture and traditions than how we were brought up. You know? And I tell you what, the if you based on culture, it's very very there will be a lot of friction. A lot of friction because my culture like this, you're gonna behave this way. With me, your culture like this, you're gonna behave this way. So it's not about culture. You know, I will take that culture out away from them. For example, you want to say, how do you, with your value, how you match with the modern world, modern lifestyle now, right? And I tell you, there's no modern. There's no modern to what your value. The value that is progressive in a new world, it's still progressive. What I'm saying the progressive is we need to use a lot of our five senses. One is touch, you know, communications, smell. Sometimes when it's just like dog when you smell a master, right? So sometimes when someone the aura of someone's near you, you can smell. He or she is somewhere. That's very important. And then what's the other one? The five that you remember? Smell and touch.
Touch.
Say it.
Senses, is it? Our senses.
Senses, yeah. And one more. The five senses. I forgot about the five senses.
Yeah, me. You suddenly asked me. I'm like, what? Seeing, sense, see, sight. I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, the general five senses. Make use of that. But how you gonna use that is one fundamental thing that you need to know is it takes a lot of patience and practice. Because you will fail. You will fail. Because if you're not patient, Mel, you need answers very fast from the spouse. You're not gonna get it. For a woman, a woman says, you tell a woman, now you ever say I love you for so long, and then suddenly you say I love you. As a woman, what would you think? You say, wow, something is not right somewhere. Probably, right? Probably. Some would accept, but that's okay. That's natural to them. But never give up. Again, I'm saying never give up practicing it. It gets better and better. Now, one important thing is this. We as couple, there were moments of time I may be down and she needs to uplift me. And she's down, I need to uplift her.
Yeah.
Don't. So a lot to them. Now I don't go for training or for this how to be a this kind of life I'm doing. It's just go through process of life. It is real. I'm no guru for it. I'm not even a guru. You may have your style, whatever you do. But this is how I do it. And really don't think.
Yeah, but then I think that's what I admire about you because it just like a lot of us we need to do a lot of reading, go for a lot of courses when it comes to relationship, kind of like go through a relationship guru. But for you, it just comes so naturally. It's like, yes, this is it. Like, it comes out naturally. You're such a composed person that, okay, this situation is happening. This is how I'm going to handle it. And that's truly amazing because I think it's not easy to like be in this generation and cope with the traditional values versus the modern values that children nowadays is used to as compared to like last time. Last time, daddy said sit or mommy says sit, don't move. We do it right now. It's not like that anymore, right? So how do you cope with the traditional values versus adjusting to the modern values?
Um, we need to adjust a lot to the modern value. Yeah, we need to adjust. The basic value you still keep, but when you say value, what is that? What is value? There are certain things that the children does. There's no value to it, right? You need to communicate with them, and when you communicate, it all depends on their mood, on that moment of time. It's not about what you say; it's about how you say it to them. Because yeah, there were certain times you don't achieve that. But the thing is never ask why. Why is he not listening to me? Why is she not listening to me? Why is the child behaving? It's not about why. We should ask how. How can I make him understand what I'm trying to say? Did I say something wrong? Because uh, it always reflects back to you. Reflect back to you. And you will say it's unfair. And I'm telling you, it's really fair. Because you don't see yourself that well, and then you expect others to behave the way you want them to behave.
Yeah.
No, you got to behave yourself, right? So it will take a while for them to understand you, even because they don't see your behavior like this. They saw your behavior the other way all the time, and suddenly you become so nice, and you expect them to say, "Hey, accept me, I'm nice." Sure, you're nice. So, right? So give them time, but be patient. Be a lot of patience. I read books. I do. Like I say, I don't listen to books, but I read books. And in fact, my time there's no YouTube, so you just read books and then you try to apply. And of course, you'll be good if the couple read the same kind of books. But no, you don't get that because your spouse may not want to read because I know better than you already.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
read, you read and apply. Yeah. You make a mistake, that's okay. Practice.
So keep practicing, and it's okay to make mistake as long as we do not repeat it, but just keep practicing what we learn. That's the takeaway. That's I pick up a lot from here. So apart from reading, I'm sure you do have superheroes, and if they've shaped your lives in any ways.
My superhero is my father.
Oh.
I took the character of being patient is from him. I spent a lot of time with him because he used to have a small business and I used to run the business for him. And we chat quite a lot and can feel about this kind of character. He's very popular among his friends. For the feedback I used to get is in this man, your father is very nice man. The word nice is something I want to find out more. But I got another word, he is very patient. That's what inspired me to say, how come this man is very patient? My mom is nagging. So, and I say, how come he is so patient? And I learned from him. I learned from him. But of course, I myself too a bit nagging because I have a bit of mom side. My mom side, so I nag to my wife. But after that, I realized I stopped that nagging, keep changing, become better to accommodate our life together. So that's very important.
Did you have to did you have to do anything, or were there like certain practices for you to stop, like you realize that you had to stop nagging, and then you need to do like certain exercise to change that habit? Did you have to do that, or were you just a superhero yourself and managed to just flow into I'm done nagging to my wife?
No, not as superhero as that. It takes time, and also with the help of my wife. So I mean, the can be constructive critics or not. Things which is not constructive will be like she will say, "Why you like to make me just like a woman?" So. And I say, "Yeah." I tell people don't act, and I'm telling myself, and I'm nagging. Then that reflects back to me. So
Yeah.
it takes a while to change. It takes a while to change. And surprisingly, my wife don't nag. She don't nag at me, but she tells me what's wrong, what's right. That inspired me something like as a wife, I do accept that. Something I do wrong, I like her to tell me that I do wrong. And it makes me a better person.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's like whatever it is, it's just okay to change your habit, and you don't have to rush into it. It's just learn how to listen basically to your wife or your husband, right? So apart from listening, with the hectic working hours, the rat race, running your own business, being a trainer, how do you cope, and how did you manage things with your wife? And I'm sure there were expectations around that might not be easy to handle as well.
That's the thing. Like I said earlier, the challenge as a young couple. So I was building my career, and she's also working. We have a child, and of course, when we go, we are so tired. Just don't want to communicate at all. Um, there was moment you need to understand this because you lost once you lost the value in your heart. Say that you got nothing to come back for. That is something wrong because I know a lot of guys they like to spend more time at work rather than at home. What's the reason? There's many reasons for that. I'm talking about guys, the gentlemen out there who are married and they're facing this kind of situation. Um, it's understandable. You try to avoid. You want to be with friends, away from all this, but you can't do that for so long. You have to face it. the face the shortfall and ask yourself, is there a value of me coming home? Not the value of them. Do when I come home, I want to see my wife like this, my child like this, and like that. No, it's not a question. It's you. What's the value that you bring home after? If your children don't want you to hear you nag when you go home, then you change and bring a better value for them by not nagging,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Come home, smiling your faces, you open the door and you're so grumpy, change and try. You fake it until you become real, really. Fake the smile and say, hi, everything, yeah, it's okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, thank you. The magic word, use that, hush, for me and my wife and my daughter, we are so used, we touch each other, we hug, kiss on the cheek, we see each other, we keep that tradition going. That's our tradition. We build as a culture, as a couple, and family, and that goes on and on. So when you come home, don't expect them to be what you want them to be. You've got to give back to them because you spend your time so much at work, and that they will waiting for you at home. Of course, put them in your shoe. You go to work, they go to work, and you wait at home.
Yeah.
No respect.
Yeah.
It's difficult to understand. It's difficult to understand this, but I tell you this: it's all about practice, and yes, great value. You get the result.
Yeah. Okay, now that we are in the topic of family and jobs and how to cope, currently Singaporeans are looking uh, for jobs, especially for PMETS, right? How can an individual cope with this, especially if they are married?
Go in what? Well,
Uh, now Singaporeans are looking for jobs, right? Especially in PMETS. But then most of the time, foreigners are getting the jobs instead of Singaporeans. So how can we, as a Singaporean, cope with this?
it's going to be tough because jobs taken by so-called foreign professionals, and a lot of us are out of job. But that is the system. That belongs to the system, country system. That needs to be changed. Where along with I don't know how to change it. But we still need what we call foreign talents, be
Yeah.
it skilled and unskilled. But striking the balance is the toughest part. That is their job. Whoever implement that, it's their job to what we call strike that balance. And of course, in striking that balance, there has to be truthful because is the ground happy? Is the Singaporeans happy? Am I happy that I'm out of job because of all that? Someone is taking the job. It's their job. Their job to strike the balance of and get the system correct. That's all I can say. Right? I'm quite lucky to come from different generations. I think your generation is a very, I can call sandwich generation. Can I say that? Well, your generation is rich.
I think
Yeah,
so. I
you
think
sort of
so.
get it, but then you don't get it. Right? Yeah, I think so. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So, of course, it will be tough for you in the future if this goes on and on and on. And that's one thing about human. Anything got to do is the bread and butter first. Anything can come later. And you're young, so you're not worried about healthcare and so forth. What you worried is the millennium jobs. When I was in my younger days, of course, same thing. It's job. Once I get my job, I'm well fed, and I can move on for me, my family, and so forth. Struggle.
I think for me, right, I can only speak for myself, especially now with the current condition and the current job market. What, what I learned from you is I need daily affirmation. Like, this is a temporary situation. I need to do certain things and then I'll be out of this situation. But what you taught me is that I need to come out of it myself. We can rely on the system, but we need to make that effort as well.
Yes,
to move,
correct.
and I think it's very important.
Yes. So basically, people like to think or use this word, say, I have no choice. You're stuck with something, it says, I have no choice. Let me explain about choice. You have a choice. If you're stuck in the room, right, and you need to survive, and the door is locked, the window is locked, you can't even open the door, what are you gonna do? What can you do? You'll find a way to just come out and break the wall, crack the wall, scrape the wall, whatever. But your determination is coming out from there. So it's important how determined you are to move away from it. You know? So that's that again. How would I say? I would say it's one of the value. One of the value that you have is you have a choice. Now let's say you are lucky. People say luck. I wouldn't say luck as a luck because let's say you buy 4D and you go and buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And then you win. But it's all about effort. A choice, you make a choice, you have to make the effort. You need to make the effort. You break the door or you break the wall, but you buy like I said, you buy a lottery, you have to make an effort. You got to go there, you got to queue up, you got to take out your money, and you got to write down something, and all these are effort. And then after all the efforts, you use your brain, calculate the numbers. Oh, I feel this one. Oh, no, I think this is that number. Yeah, I use Mel birthday. Mel birthday, the first digit, second, and fourth. That is effort. So it takes a lot of brain thinking. Then the last part is your heart says, yes, that's a number. And you use your heart to decide. And then you lose. Or you win. Right? So there's no luck. So it's my value is I don't say we are lucky and neither I say we got no choice. These are the two things. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think that's very important. So we are lucky and
No, you don't use, you don't have a value of saying that you are lucky. And everything that you do, the result will come as yes or no. It's all about effort.
effort. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a word that people use often. You're very lucky.
Yeah.
Then you base on luck all the time. Yeah, I'm very lucky. Lucky I'm safe. That's just a word. Just a word.
Yeah. Understand.
It's like if you say to yourself, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid. You're gonna be stupid. You will be stupid. You know? Yeah.
It's what we say to ourselves. It's the daily affirmation that's really very much needed to motivate us, especially in any negative situation or any situation. What we say to us, that's the giveaway here, right? What we say to ourselves matters, right?
So in actual, in the whole nutshell is how you manifest yourself.
Mm.
Right? You think it, and then you say it, and then you feel it, and you decide is that the right way. And using this also the same for your family, how you analyze your family or life like that. What do you think? If you marry a gentleman, you choose. Do you have a choice? Or because you choose, then you tell your mom, and suddenly your husband is not a good man. Then your mom says, "Dad, you choose what?" No, I no choice. You choose. I asked you to marry the other man, but you choose. Your choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Make it back.
Yeah, I think it's very important for us to learn how to make that right choices in life. Not to do anything like silly, like proper due diligence, proper background checks and all, right? Because I'm sure like we are in the topic of family, right? Our family members, our parents, our mom would want our dad, anybody would want us to get married, and I'm sure you have faced that yourself, right? Before you met your wife, you would have like your parents saying, Abbas get married, Abbas get married. And I'm sure you've turned down your parents many times, right? But then again, you met the one that's like, yes, that's the one I want to get married to, right? And then comes the different value, the different race, and then how we are able to come together and work. That's so important. And then if suddenly it doesn't work out, and then we'll be like, look, I made a choice. So it's about admitting that you made that choice and you need to either live with it or make the changes needed for you to get there. And I think that's how I see how amazing you are when it comes to family values and adapting to all the different changes and environment. That is so amazing. But how can any Singaporean not give up on their career and family, given that it's
Okay.
their choice, and admit, okay, you know what, this is my choice, and should I give up or should I not give up? But how can we make sure that we do not give up?
Right. And you see, for men, they're very objective. Men are very objective. Women are multitask. They can do anything. But the weakest emotional link is the woman. You need to understand. See, the best of men are men who is kind to his wife. That's the best. Not a man who can fight, a man who's rich, clever. But he can be kind to his wife and his family. That is the best of men. So you were saying about how are we gonna sustain that in a sense, right? Sustain that relationship. Um, we need to work hard and learn. Keep learning. Somewhere out there, you can learn from someone. Uh, you learn from the book, and you learn from example. Nowadays, you see, you can find a lot of things on YouTube. Someone will tell you about motivation. Someone will think, it's my time. You don't have that. Of course, when you speak to someone, you got to trust that someone, friends. A lot of time when you speak to someone, you
Yeah.
thought you can with someone, and that someone will tell you, no, you do like this, you pack and run away. No, don't care about you, hurt, whatever. No. This is not a good friend. A good friend will tell you this. What have you done for her, for him? What have you done for yourself? Look at you. How do you expect her or him to be what you want to be? But look at yourself. These are good friends who really speak up to you. So I have good friends who can really speak up to me. And that friends I choose to speak, not all my friends, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing when my friends speak. My friend like to speak to me. When they have a lot of problems, they come. I'm a good listener. There were times I cannot help them and say, no, this is your decision. It's your choice. You have a choice. You want to do it. It's yours, not mine. I can't. I can just guide you, right? So the same thing with you. I can just guide you. I cannot just even I'm speaking out to everyone. I just guide them. You need to decide and have a choice.
Yeah. That's amazing. So a proper support system in terms of friends, and not someone who say, "Oh yeah, it's okay, just give up," but someone who will listen, and someone who will really tell you, "Look, you should be doing this instead of just giving up." And that's very true. That's very true. I can see that. I have one final questions before we call. I'm sure everybody would want to get back to their things as well. As much as this is extremely useful, I know I picked up a lot of things here. How do we cultivate good family habit during this pandemic?
Right. So there's a lot of family quarrel during pandemic.
Yes, yeah. Everyone's like, I'm driving crazy. All my friends are like, I'm driving crazy. The kids here, the husbands here, the wives here, and my Zoom meeting is here.
Yeah, this is very sudden. We stay home. Never before in our life, never before in the past when we are actually stay home like this. Um, Things that you can cultivate is sometimes you don't need to talk. Just don't talk.
Yeah,
Because the more you try to talk, the more you get into each other, right?
yeah,
Because before the pandemic, you did not build that foundation earlier. If you have built that foundation, there will be a fun thing we can do with each other at home. You love to see each other. But a lesson learned from the circuit breaker. What you need to do is learn from here what is. Then again, I said in the beginning, you mirror yourself. Check,
yeah,
do your own check, and then say what can I do better for my family.
yeah,
And it's not about why. Always ask how can I do better for myself.
Yeah.
What can I do better? And
Yeah.
when can I do that? And don't ask why. Because things happen, it happens. Things happen. Don't ask why. But the last thing is this, people say fate. I'm fated to be this way. We are fated to be this way. It's very, very difficult for some people to understand fate. Right? Fate means, I know, if I come out from this door, I'm going to fall down. That's fate.
Yeah.
You got to leave that fate aside. But right now, what is the right thing for you? But don't forget, there were things that you want to do, you think you're right, it could be wrong.
Yeah.
And then it turned out. So what are you going to say? Sorry. Da, da, da.